Jonathan Darman, Becoming FDR, The Personal Crisis That Made a President. Dive into the captivating journey of Franklin Delano Roosevelt in Becoming FDR, The Personal Crisis That Made a President by Jonathan Darman. This book unravels the transformative episode of FDR's life when, at the height of his vibrant political career, he was suddenly stricken by polio in 1921. Witness how this personal calamity turned into a pivotal moment that reshaped his character and leadership approach. You'll explore themes of resilience, personal evolution, and the power of partnership, particularly through the significant role played by Eleanor Roosevelt. The narrative not only reveals a man enduring physical and emotional trials, but also highlights the beginnings of the informed, empathetic leader the American public would later come to rely on. Expect an enlightening exploration of the factors that molded FDR into a president who would leave an indelible mark on history.
A hero's silent struggle. On a seemingly ordinary August morning in 1921, Franklin Delano Roosevelt awoke to a profound personal crisis. Just a day into a tranquil family getaway, he was gripped by a fever, fatigue, and an unusual weakness that prevented him from standing. His wife, Eleanor, and their trusted political strategist, Lewis Howe, watched helplessly as Franklin slipped into weeks of fevered sleep punctuated by hallucinations. Their picturesque summer retreat, now a fortress of care and quiet desperation, transformed the family's long-anticipated vacation into a relentless vigil. Far from the conveniences of city life, summoning medical help became a daunting challenge. Eventually, a family acquaintance and doctor made the arduous journey to their isolated island location. Sadly, the doctor misjudged Franklin's condition, attributing his paralysis to a blood clot and exhaustion. This unfortunate diagnosis, albeit encouraging, masked a more sinister cause, polio. A timely diagnosis could have altered Roosevelt's course, but the truth was harsher. While the body may recover from nerve damage caused by a clot, polio ravages muscles and nerves, often leaving them irreparable. For Roosevelt, this revelation was calamitous. Known for his towering presence, charisma, and athletic grace, he had long enjoyed the privileges and admiration that came with them. Now, stripped of these outward trappings, his political ambitions dimmed under the shadow of his newly imposed physical limitations. The sobering reality marked the demise of his former, more carefree political persona. Roosevelt's world was irrevocably altered, thrusting him into a new chapter defined by grit, fortitude, and an almost implausible optimism. Despite limited medical intervention early on, outside doctors finally diagnosed his polio accurately, underscoring the severity of his condition. The illness left him with limited control over his lower body, carving an uncertain path to recovery. As he lay in bed, contemplating the unraveling of his public life, Roosevelt embarked on a profound inner journey. This period of affliction fortified his resilience, setting the stage for the chapters of indomitable leadership that lay ahead. A Roosevelt's resilience. Eleanor Roosevelt and Franklin Delano Roosevelt's journey as a couple is a testament to overcoming personal trials and societal expectations. From their seemingly ideal partnership on paper, Eleanor, an attractive and intelligent niece of President Teddy Roosevelt, and Franklin, leveraging his distant presidential lineage for influence, their union was marked by stark contrasts in upbringing and unforeseen challenges. Franklin's privileged childhood was enveloped in his mother's adoration, fostering an unshakable confidence in his specialness, while Eleanor's formative years were marred by neglect from her alcoholic parents, leaving her starved for affection. Fast forward to a pivotal August, where the course of their lives was dramatically altered. Eleanor was on the brink of personal liberation, seeking independence beyond her role as Franklin's wife, as he chased political power, aiming for the New York governor's office and the White House. This trajectory took a sharp turn when Franklin's health crisis thrust him into forced convalescence, reliant on Eleanor's care as she faced the daunting task of supporting a large household under new circumstances. Amid these challenges, Eleanor devoted herself to Franklin's recovery with tireless dedication, spending restless nights by his bedside and managing inquiries about his condition. In crisis, the Roosevelts rallied as a family, determined not to succumb to despair. It sparked a campaign of unwavering optimism for Franklin's health. Defying medical prognosis, Franklin fixated on regaining the ability to walk, aware that his political dreams hinged on projecting physical vitality and strength. In an unexpected shift of roles, Eleanor, previously in Franklin's shadow, stepped with newfound courage into the public sphere. Her strength and adaptability became essential as she maintained the family's active presence in both private and political realms, even as Franklin's immediate focus turned inward towards his recovery. Through Eleanor's bold foray into public life, the Roosevelts managed to navigate their shared adversities, a journey of resilience and ambition that forever marked their shared path in the annals of history. Rising from challenges. As Franklin Roosevelt's health waned after a series of illnesses culminating in the 1918 influenza pandemic, he sought solace and healing away from the public eye. In July 1921, his retreat took him to the warm waters of Florida aboard a barge named Laruco. This period away from the bustling life of New York allowed him to swim, sunbathe, and quietly recover, all while keeping his movements discreet from media attention. Meanwhile, his wife Eleanor Roosevelt embarked on her own transformative journey. Their personal relationship had shifted, yet Eleanor embraced this new phase by nurturing strong and intellectually stimulating bonds with forward-thinking women. These relationships, rooted in shared progressive ideals and a desire for social reform, empowered Eleanor in profound ways. Together, they navigated New York's social landscape, volunteering in settlement houses and teaching immigrant children in Manhattan's tenements. Eleanor's involvement went beyond social work, she immersed herself in the political discourse of the time. As women's suffrage began reshaping the political arena, Eleanor seized the opportunity to lend her voice and intellect to these crucial changes. Her poise and analytical prowess soon propelled her to a prominent role as the head of the National Women's Committee of the Democratic Party. By the summer of 1928, she had become a formidable figure in American politics, adept at leveraging her engagements to advocate for women's political rights. Understanding the dynamics of media, Eleanor cleverly navigated the world of journalism. She skillfully used opportunities in women's magazines and interviews to intersperse her commentary on political issues with personal anecdotes about her life. This not only amplified her influence but also allowed her to communicate broader social messages to a wider audience. Her adeptness in connecting with the public turned her into a pivotal strategist and advisor, preparing her husband Franklin for his eventual return to the political stage. Eleanor Roosevelt's evolution from a supportive partner to a prominent political figure illustrates a journey of resilience and ingenuity. Her contributions during a time of personal and societal change illuminated her remarkable capability to adapt and advocate, laying the groundwork for future generations of women's leadership in politics. Triumph in adversity. Just as Eleanor Roosevelt was becoming influential in politics, Franklin Roosevelt's journey took yet another dramatic turn. Despite their lives being thrown into turmoil by political shifts in New York and Washington, D.C., Franklin, who had been seen as an anti-establishment figure, emerged as the ideal choice to champion Governor Al Smith's bid for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1924. Returning to the political arena in a wheelchair, Franklin accepted his role as Smith's campaign figurehead, aware of the opportunity it presented. Prohibition remained a contentious issue, creating deep divisions in national campaigns. The Democratic convention that took place in Madison Square Garden that June was marked by fierce battles between Al Smith's anti-prohibition supporters and William McAdoo's pro-prohibition faction. McAdoo, despite garnering some support due to his stance, alienated many by refusing to denounce the Ku Klux Klan. Franklin's public presence had been overshadowed by his disability, yet this convention placed him squarely back in the heart of U.S. politics. Unable to approach the podium independently, he had to be lifted onto the stage while seated. As this scene unfolded, the chaotic hall fell completely silent. The event was broadcast on radio across America, captivating listeners who, unaware of his physical limitations, heard a sudden hush followed by the announcement of Franklin Roosevelt as the next speaker and a resounding ovation. Radio audiences perceived Franklin as a magnetic and influential figure. What they missed was the visual impact, Franklin methodically guiding himself to the podium with the aid of his son and canes, then standing unassisted by grasping the custom podium rails. He greeted the crowd with a confident smile, setting the canes aside to deliver his remarks. This mere ascent was a testament to his tenacity and courage. Franklin captivated the convention's audience, ensuring his presence echoed long after his speech concluded, solidifying his status as a powerful and inspirational figure despite his physical challenges. The road to empathy. Franklin Roosevelt was on a transformative journey, with aspirations mirroring those of his iconic namesake, Teddy, aiming eventually for the presidency. In the 1924 political arena, he took his first significant step onto the national stage. However, despite his growing influence and newfound public role, he faced personal challenges, as he was still unable to walk due to polio. During this period, Franklin began redefining leadership with an innovative spirit and a compassionate heart. While swimming and sunbathing at a spa in Warm Springs, Georgia, as part of his rehabilitation, he envisioned a revolution in how disabilities were treated. His efforts to blend physical recovery with social reintegration were not just personal but symbolic of a broader vision. He wanted to create environments where those afflicted by paralysis could not only heal physically but also regain purpose and community. So profound was his belief in these therapies that when the Warm Springs Spa came up for sale, Franklin acquired it to transform it into a state-of-the-art rehabilitation center. The facility became a beacon of hope, reflecting his desire to extend the same optimism that fueled his recovery to others. Through this venture, Franklin gained popularity in Georgia and earned the trust and support of the Democratic South, strengthening his political network across the nation. Franklin's commitment to empowering others with disabilities and his innovative use of radio technology not only introduced a novel leadership style but also garnered him widespread admiration. This empathy-driven approach helped lay a critical foundation for his eventual successful pursuit of the presidency, where his compassion for those battling adversity defined his leadership and inspired a generation.
Jonathan Darman's portrait of FDR presents a compelling account of how personal adversities can potentially mold a leader. By detailing FDR's battle with polio, Becoming FDR underscores the profound impact of resilience and adaptability in the face of life-changing challenges. Through FDR's story, the book illustrates the significance of support systems, particularly the profound influence of Eleanor Roosevelt, and their role in overcoming setbacks. This personal crisis not only redefined FDR's political outlook but also his approach to leadership, cultivating a sense of empathy and determination that defined his presidency. The narrative leaves audiences with a deeper understanding of how FDR's journey through adversity contributed to his emergence as a formidable leader committed to shaping a better future for his nation.